I want to chat with you a little bit about the idea of disappointment and how I deal with disappointment. A lot of people are in business and they're dealing with challenging things. And recently I did a video about the challenge of a slow summer. Today I want to talk about disappointment as an issue because I'm dealing with some disappointments myself right now. I'm always dealing with a number of disappointments, and sometimes my videos might give you the impression that there's no room for disappointment, there's no room for something not to work, and that everything just happens rather smoothly. It doesn't happen smoothly. In fact, that is what my book is about, You Can Still Win. You go through situations where you have walls, you have disappointments, you have difficulties, and it's about understanding how to manage through those and work through those in a world of great opportunity. And the idea here is not that there aren't things that you shouldn't be disappointed about or things that you won't encounter that will be a challenge, but rather that you are resilient. And that's what this is about, resilience. So sometimes people will say to me, look, Andre, I'm not even going to ask you about this because you're going to say it'll work out. Or sometimes people will hear something positive from me and they'll think, well, you're just kind of papering over things. You're not really addressing the hurt, the difficulty, the challenge, the enormous setback that I'm dealing with. A gentleman the other day sent me an email, and we were talking about business, and he detailed all of the things that he had gone through recently, all the issues. And I realized when I read that email that his mind was completely focused from that angle. It was not focused from the success angle or the winning angle or the achievement angle. It was focused from the disappointment and difficulty angle. And that's the issue here that we have to get at in helping you understand how to deal with disappointment, how I deal with disappointment, and why I'm able to look at things very differently. I often talk about this quote from Barbara Corcoran. She says, the person who does well in sales is the person who can bounce back quickly, Now, intuitively, I've understood this in my life, and I have worked on my ability to bounce back. And I'll tell you, after many, many years of confronting issues and having to bounce back, it can be tedious. You can have fatigue. It can be very difficult. It can be very challenging. I mean, what if you've gone 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years even, and you haven't won? I mean, some people are complaining because they've gone a year or 6 months, but there are people out there who have gone a decade and they can't seem to win. What do you do? How do you handle that? How do you approach the disappointment and what feels like no hope? I spoke to one gentleman the other day and he said to me, you know, I'm in my 60s now and I've been trying to have a level of success since my 20s and maybe it just isn't for me. You know, he said, I'm looking at my life, I'm reviewing my life, and I'm thinking, maybe it wasn't for me. Well, of course, there are lots of people who excel in their 60s, and there are people that you know, well-known names, that you would not have known had they not dealt with their disappointment, stood up, and done something in their 60s. You know, people like Louise Hay, Colonel Saunders, many others, and certainly in their 50s and 40s, many people, you know, Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, I think he was in his 40s and I think had a drug habit and was able to get his career going in a new direction with the help of Spike Lee. But anyway, how do you deal with disappointment? Well, the first thing is you've got to acknowledge your disappointment. I think that's okay. Sometimes I might suggest that you don't acknowledge it, but acknowledge your disappointment. Say, wow, I thought that was going to work out. I had hoped that was going to work out. I had done everything I could to make that work out. You know, Acknowledge that you're at a place where you would like a different outcome and that you didn't achieve that outcome. That's very healthy, because what you're doing there is you're acknowledging that while you might be in a difficult, negative, unsatisfying situation, there is another one you would prefer, and you just didn't get there. And I think that that's important, because what it tells you is there's something else you need to do. There's something else you need to know. There's something else you need to believe. There's something else that's important for you, some other step. So acknowledge where you are. You can't become a champion if you're losing every day and you think that you're a champion. You might be a champion inside. You might have champion potential. You might be on the road to a championship. But there's something you've got to fix. There's something you've got to do. So acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge what's going on. Acknowledge the challenge you're facing. Acknowledge how you feel. That is fine. Do that acknowledgement. But the second thing is what I see that many people have difficulty with. And that's where I see people have challenges. And it's your underlying or your underpinning beliefs. You have to ask yourself now, what do you believe? And this is where, for me, disappointment takes a turn. Because some people might believe, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this, or maybe no one cares about this, maybe I'll never get a customer, maybe this just won't work, maybe this is a bad industry. They'll believe all that stuff. But I have studied so long, looked at the world so long, lived so long, experienced so long, that my underlying belief is that I can have this. I can make this work. Other people have done it, some with less than I have. Other people have achieved this. There's enough money in the world. There's enough opportunity in the world. There's enough that can happen in a given moment. A twist, a turn, a stroke of luck, if you want to call it, a empathetic person, something can happen that can make this work for me. I don't normally talk about this, but I'll tell you that there have been times in my life I've put an ATM card in a cash machine and there was no money in, and I got cash out. Now you might say, okay, you're talking about some hocus pocus stuff here now. But my point to you is that try it. Believe it. Because nothing is going to come from believing it won't work. Nothing is going to come from believing that you can't restore that client relationship, that another email won't work, that another call, that a visit won't work, that another attempt at the contract won't work, that another conversation, that another effort, that another person on your team, that another idea, that a scaled down proposal, that a change proposal. If you believe that you live in a world where there are enough opportunities, enough openings, enough chances, enough ideas, enough people to get what you want, that's all you need to believe. Because what you're saying there is it's possible not only for the world, it's possible for me. It's possible. You can do it. In fact, that was what Les Brown used to say, that it's possible. Powerful statement. It's possible. So your underlying beliefs, your underpinning beliefs are really the issue here. Because as I was coaching a client and they were doing an event and they sent out an email and no one responded, they got discouraged. And the people they thought were going to show up at the event didn't show up. Only a handful showed up. And my reaction was, well, you got 5 or 6 people. You didn't get 15, but you got people. And my underlying belief is if you got anybody and you got people to participate, that means that there was some value here. And so you have to examine what your beliefs are. Now, the third thing in dealing with disappointment is, where is the value? Is the value in stopping, Or is the value in trying again? Will you make the money that you want to make by stopping? Will you get where you want to go by stopping? Will you solve the problem by stopping? What will happen if you stop? Because the point here is understand the value in trying again. The value in trying again. As hard as it is, as difficult as it is, as tired as you are, as many times as you've tried, understand the value in trying again. Because the value in trying again is that it might work now. I can make an adjustment and now I can start again. And that adjustment that I make might have the impact that I want. So understanding the value in trying again is again, no pun intended, something that many people don't realize, and they stay stuck in the hurt, in the frustration, in the anger, in the disappointment, in the why bother? Okay, enough. I don't want it. Who cares? And that, there's no value in that, because all your life you will remember that you got close, but you didn't do it. You were in your third year in business and you were losing money every month. And you didn't take those few $100s you had, that amount on your credit card, and try that ad, and try that other product, and try that other promotion that you didn't try again. And maybe that would have worked. Maybe that would have been the thing. You didn't ask your friend to help you. You didn't ask someone to work with you. You didn't ask someone for referrals. You didn't ask someone. You didn't do everything you could do. You allowed your shame, your disappointment, your frustration, your disenchantment to be dominant and to override what should have been an effort to try again, to intelligently try again. So gather your ideas, gather your thoughts, gather your knowledge, gather what you know, and try it again. Do it again. Make another effort. Make another attempt. Shoot another basket. I used to be in the sports business. Before the game, I would see these great players, greatest players of all time, come out and shoot basket after basket after basket after basket after basket after basket after basket. Well, why is this person good? They've been doing it all their life, and they're still doing it as an adult, as a big leaguer, as an NBA player, as a champion, as a person who's making millions a year, who has millions of fans around the world. They're still trying again. They're still trying again. So that's what mastery is about. That's what excellence is about. That's what being at the top of your field is about. It's saying, all right, okay, I'm going to try that again. We're going to do that again. If that didn't quite work out, we're going to do that again. And when you do that again, you're going to start to see not only a little bit of progress, a little bit of gain, maybe big gain, but you're going to see what's inside of you. You're going to see what the power that's in you, the strength that's in you, the performance that's in you, the champion that's in you is going to start to emerge. So there's value in trying again. Now, the fourth thing you need, and I think a lot of people don't get enough of this, is you need empowering input. When I'm going to do something, when I'm going to speak before a crowd, when I'm going to go to meet a top client, when I'm going to do anything, I am only listening to positive ideas, reading positive ideas, thinking positive thoughts around positive people. It can be done, and I'm doing it. It can be done, and I'm doing it. That's all I'm thinking about. I don't want to hear about the traffic this morning. I don't want to hear about the crime that happened in some borough. I'm not listening to any kind of local news or anything like that. I'm listening to something empowering. I'm listening to great ideas. I'm listening to successful people. I'm looking at empowering music. So it's like when you are, a sports team, they're playing upbeat music, powerful music, things to remind you. Get empowered input throughout the process, on up to the moment that you've got to deliver, on up to the moment. Keep the empowering input. Write your goals. Record your goals on your voice recorder in your phone. Listen to them over and over again. Listen to an empowering music. Listen to something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel upbeat. Use those moments effectively to reinforce the most positive things you can. That's number 4. And you know what number 5 is? Number 5 is get to work. Get started. Get going. Do the work. Put everything else away. Get on the phone. Make the call. Get in the game. Go to the meeting. Put on the suit and tie if you have to and go do that. Whatever it is you got to do, do it. Get started. Get in the arena. Do what you have to do. Face that client. Whatever it is you have to do, get started. Show up. If you do these 5 things, you will kill disappointment. And you will crush, as they say today, your goals. Because you will leave no room for any of that negative energy that can emerge and be a problem for you. You can deal with disappointment, you can overcome disappointment, and you can get on the winning side of the ledger if you do these 5 things. What are they? Number 1, acknowledge your disappointment. Number 2, get into those underpinning beliefs and make sure those beliefs are beliefs that you can do it. Number 3, reinforce the value of trying again and get ready to try again. Number 4, get some empowering input, and only empowering input. Don't tell the problems, the issues. Don't gossip with anybody. Don't have anybody justify how you feel or the negative or how they did you wrong or how crazy they are or how they didn't. Empowering input. Talk to people who speak positive energy into you and say, you can do it. And number 5, get started. Do the work. Make the call. Give that person a call and say, you know what? Let's talk again. Let's meet. Let's see if we can work it out. You do those 5 things. You'll deal with disappointment. You'll make things happen in your life. And you will win more often than you will lose. And people will be wondering when they ask you, how do you do it? How do you do it? Well, it'll be these 5 things. You can still win. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. Put these things to work today. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Send this to somebody who's dealing with disappointment, discouragement, and tell them, hey, we got something for you. Time to roll. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure they're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.